Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Dropped Frames here on this Wednesday. The structure of today's show is going to be a little different than normal. We're going to do our first 90 minutes per usual, but that's going to be it for the regular show. Joining us at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, Phil Spencer from Xbox will be here, and that'll be the end after that 30-minute or so interview. So just letting everyone know it will only be a 2-hour show this time around rather than a 3. It's because you have to end on Phil's a closer, okay? He's a closer. You don't come back after a commercial break from Phil. You end on
the show's not going to get any better after Phil.
No.
Let's be real.
No, it's done. It's done after that.
We're just spinning your wheels at that point.
Yes.
So we don't there's no coming back and just basking in the green glory of Xbox.
The Philness.
Yeah, the Philness. No, there's no. I mean, that might be on my stream afterwards, but that's not.
Oh, okay.
That's the after party. Right.
I'll probably shoot things in Battlefield 4 for an hour then.
There you go. You shoot some stuff in Battlefield.
Oh, JP, real quick, I just want to thank you for your help sending me all the questions.
Yes. Yeah.
I got those in the mail.
Yep.
And I appreciate it.
Yep.
Mail. Oh,
they're not.
It's true. That's what they use in Montana, where he was currently residing when I sent those.
I got mine by Carrier Raven.
It's true.
They're written in really big letters and
Crown. I had to use Crown for that.
What's your favorite color? Is there better questions?
I mean, it's kind of a good question if you think, because if he doesn't say green, then what is he really doing? You know? If it's not green, then something's afoot.
All right. Okay, good. So that is a good question then. Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Did JP send you your pre-approved questions? Oh,
he did. My two are: what are your thoughts on waffles, and do you like to swim?
Good.
Okay.
Very important. I mean, Subnautica, is it on Xbox yet? We could get the answer from that question. You know?
Yeah.
Is it going to be on Game Pass? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
Speaking of questions, let's go ahead and get this out of the way real quick. Zeke.
Yeah.
Can I be you for charity?
Oh, okay.
Can you be me?
Can I be you?
You didn't get my response?
I didn't know.
Okay.
Did you send me your response?
No, okay. If you're just gonna spill the beans like that.
Beans have been spilled. They're already on my Twitter.
No, that's fine.
For the record, I already made it public, so this is more of a courtesy question.
Oh, okay. No, I responded to you and I said sorry. I responded to you and I said, yeah, absolutely. Maybe gauge your audience and see if there's someone that they'd like to do more. But if you want to do me, if you want to be me, let me know if you hit that goal, and I can send you some stuff to help your cosplay there.
Awesome. I don't think I'll make the goal, but in the off chance that I do, I appreciate that. I gotta work on my Zeke voice. I gotta work on my. I'll do that later.
Just smoke 12 packs, so then you'll be good.
There you go. Yeah. I'll send you. Okay. I'll send you a broken controller. I'll send you a just spit covered microphone.
Oh, great! Excellent.
Does your mic? Totally, does this come off like you're using an SM7? Just send him the filter or whatever.
Oh, you should.
No, I use a AT.
Oh, you got a pop filter.
20,
okay.
Whatever, but yeah, I got a pop filter.
There you go.
And that thing is, yeah. I was gonna say something crass, like it looks like it was on the set of a porn shoot, but I didn't. So, go me.
There you go.
Good job.
There you go.
I'll save that one for the actual stream. Excellent.
Save that one for Phil.
Yes.
There we go. Even better.
I can see. I just imagine JP is laughing in the monkey ass.
You guys think that I'd be worried about that? That would be great. Because I wouldn't have said. I'm the guy that asked him if he's gotten a PlayStation yet. You forget, right? I was the dumbass on the last time we did this. Yeah.
Best part is Phil is such a nice guy. Everyone would just think his camera was frozen because he probably just sit there like.
Yeah, he'd smile through it. Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't think you agree to interviews if you're a big cheese of a company without having prep or being like comfortable with whatever happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got media training out the wazoo for sure.
Yeah.
I think at that level, most people do as well. So, anyways, we'll talk to Phil in a bit. I don't want to talk any more about it because Zeke, I want to know how the vacation went. How was Branson? Did it live up? Not Branson. Branson's in Missouri. You went to
Billings.
Billings. That's the one.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I thought you were gonna say Scranton next.
Scranton.
I like how you said that, JP. I feel like you should have been like, is Billings on the board? Is that on the board? Billings? No, it's not.
Everybody says
he could have said anything there and have been like, that's a place in Montana. I'm sure of it. I've been there. It's great. Great place. Great Holiday Inn. Really fantastic.
Montana, phenomenal city. Great city.
How's Big
as
Bill's
a point
going?
of order, not the Holiday Inn, the Billings Hotel and Convention Center. Go there anytime you need to stay in Billings and for all your conventional needs like weddings and rehearsal dinners and stuff. And I only advertise for that because my aunt runs the place.
Well, there you go. Very good. Free advertising.
So that was cool. I got free room and board.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Anytime you go home, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
How's the Big Bills going? That's what they say there.
Dude, Montana's one of those places, and I'm sure like anybody out there who's from, I mean, it's not like a small town. It's like got 100,000 people, but like it has a small town feel in a lot of places around the United States. This rural, like it doesn't change. Like I went back there and it was mostly the same after not being there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way it is though. And I go back there and I'm like, all right, let's do some stuff. Let's go visit. Like I'm going to show my lady all the, all my old haunts and stuff. So I did that and I was like, fuck, that took like 2 hours. Yes, we'll drink.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like, especially now, like people understand, like there's not really much to do. People are just starting to get going after the vaccine and stuff.
True.
There's still places that are mask encouraged or required and stuff, but
is it open
for the most part?
Is Montana open? It is. Okay.
Yeah. For the most part, Montana. My mom got her vaccine months before I did, so I don't know if they did it like a number of vaccines or a percentage, but like mom was like they were pretty much available after she got hers to the public pretty quickly. Yeah.
Well,
Most
cool.
people got vaccinated. And, yeah, it was cool. But honestly, I went up there and I did improv for the first time in
a while.
3 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
How
I
were you?
used to do
How'd it
it
go?
every day or every Thursday. I would do it. I did it every Thursday for 15 years. And it's just like riding a bike, man. It really is.
Well,
like it's a muscle that didn't get atrophied, or at least doesn't seem like it gets atrophied as quickly. The just jumping in and kind of, you kind of instinctually, after doing it for so long, kind of instinctually know like how to play and make it entertaining and stuff. And it was a blast. It really was.
That's good. Did you miss it when you left? Did you have that homesick feeling when you're getting on the plane? That always happens to me whenever I go home to San Antonio.
We drove, actually. It's an 8-hour drive.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. We had a while to think about it.
Yeah. The reason why we drove is because we wanted the family to meet our puppies. So
okay. That makes
we
sense.
brought them along. And I was kind of dreading it. I was kind of dreading bringing 2-year-old poodles on a road trip, but they were fantastic. Like, they were fantastic on the trip.
Right.
Like, driving and stuff. They were perfectly fine.
That's good.
They were giant assholes, like, when we boarded them up at my brother's house, because they were too loud to be in the hotel room, because immediately when we left, being that they were in isolation with us for a year and have not had a lot of human contact, they have giant separation anxiety.
Sure.
Especially the boy. And it's the highest pitch, annoyingest, just pathetic, sad. And it's fucking 3 million decibels down the halls echoing.
Yeah.
I left him alone for like 5 minutes, and immediately my aunt's calling me. She's like, is your dog in there? I'm like, yes. You can't leave him in there if it's gonna. I left him in there for 5 minutes. So that means we're taking him to my brother's house. So thankfully, we took him there, and he had my brother has a 11-year-old poodle that I used to live with named Jag.
Right. Yeah, I remember Jag.
So they got to hang out with Uncle Jag for most of the vacation, which was fun for them.
Good. Nice.
And fucking way de-stressed for us.
Yeah. It's never any fun to keep pets in a hotel in that type of situation. It can get expensive quick in a lot of ways. So
yeah,
for sure.
Cool. Well, I'm glad the vacation went well. It sounds like it was a good trip home. And now you're back for years. Now you don't need to go home, right? That's the plan.
Yeah. Now I'm not leaving ever.
You're starting a new quarantine. This one's self-imposed. Not government
everyone
mandate.
Who I want to see, I will make you come see me.
Yeah.
I would much rather pay for your ticket than mine.
Sure. That's the plan.
Don't think that's going to get you out from visiting the new house seat. I will drag you.
Has he been to the current house?
I will hire a bounty hunter, and they will lasso you like in an old school Western and drag you out of your house by your feet.
Tell me you got some
That's intense.
Like a bat cave. Like a secret entrance in a bat cave or something.
I do. It's actually a boulder that rolls out of the way, like Jesus being resurrected, and you go into the cave, which then leads into my house. Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, dude.
That'd be cool.
That's what's taking so long. He's having to go and find the perfect boulder.
I'm getting the boulder door done. That's right.
Yeah.
For my vault.
It's hard, finding the perfect, it's just like finding a yacht. You got to find the one that fits you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have to find the gold plating that's just thick enough to make you really enjoy it.
That's right. That's 100%.
Oh.
I get it.
What's the code of the boulder door? Oh, well, 42069, of course.
Yep. Just change it
I'm
around.
in my boulder
Just change
door.
it around. 69 420.
Oh.
Or add an X in there to throw them off. That'll keep it safe.
Ooh, maybe 3 X's.
Maybe. That might be a different
on
vault,
either side.
if you know what I'm saying.
And the middle one's capitalized.
That's a movie. You can't do that. There's licenses that own that. Yeah.
Right.
That's a famous movie. Well, famous is depends on who you ask. Let's jump into some news and get away from these dumb bits. Not too much going on.
Bits. You said bits. Okay, no, I'm sorry.
No, we're not talking about. Never mind.
Thought I was back in the bar.
No. This one surprised me. Not because I don't think the game is great. I think the game's fantastic. I think Zeke would also attest to it as well. But I'm surprised at how many copies it sold. It Takes Two, as of June 17th, crossed 2 million copies sold, which essentially means that 4 million people have played that. If you think about the idea that it's a co-op only game, and only one person needs to have bought it. So that one was a little surprising to see, which is great because I think those games are fantastic. I'd love to see more games made by that team. And if that does it, then great. It's fantastic. One of the not surprising stats to come out this past week, Nier Automata and Nier Replicant both have sold 6 million and 1 million respectively.
Really cool. Really cool.
I guess we're getting more of that. At least more Yoko. There's going to be more Yoko Taro in some sense. Might not be Nier, but yeah. That's a lot of sales.
So
they're going to keep it up.
Automata sold 6 million, right?
Yeah, Nier Automata.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, Nier Automata sold 6 million and Replicant's at 1 million.
5 and 6. Well, yeah, okay.
Now, does that count it probably only counts the newest release, like the remake or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's not
I don't know. Yeah, probably just the new one, not the old school one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. That game was like a re-release or
it's got its own title. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming, yeah.
I guess that's true. In the world of hilarious fuck-ups, we've got a good one. Marvel's Avengers this past week put on a new patch and also released some new content, a big fight. But I think as of this morning, it took about 24 hours for the patch to fix this issue. Yesterday, when the patch showed up, it was showing your username, your version, I think, the date, and your IP address on screen in a scrolling like combat text scenario that moved around on the screen. So that's really unfortunate. To echo what I said yesterday when I talked about this, as probably one of the like 10 remaining fans of this game, you're making it real hard here, Square. Like, I can't defend this at all. That's just a big old fuck up. Yeah.
I can just imagine the guy with the sticky note. Make sure to turn off on-screen IP before release. And you see it like laying upside down on his desk. And he just picks it up. Oh,
yes. Yes. I mean, you have to think that that's like the reason that it exists is probably for security reasons, for QA and whatnot. But the fact that that didn't get removed before pushing that live on whatever, like.
And then apparently
image.
24 hours to fix it?
Yeah, it was 24 hours to push out a patch. I think the patch came out this morning. At least that's what they were saying yesterday in the middle of the afternoon. Yeah. They also didn't state in the initial tweet once they verified or confirmed that it existed, that it was also showing your IP. They were very loose around the conversation of what it was actually showing. I'm looking at their Twitter. It says an hour ago, patch 1.8b has been published and fixes the issue that was occurring on PS5 where sensitive information was displayed on screen. PS5 players are now safe to stream now. So not only does it suck that it's doing that, it also killed all of their potential hype for yesterday's streams because no one was going to even risk it. It bounces bounces around on the screen. It wasn't fixed. So yeah, that one's pretty good. That was a fun screw up this past week. I don't know if we covered this last week during the show. I think it might have come out on like Thursday or Friday, but Facebook is already seeing backlash for it. They were testing ads in Facebook VR. Specifically, there was a game called Blast On, I think, or Blast On. I don't know if it's like Gaston from Disney or if it's just Blast On.
God damn it. You beat me to it, man. I was just going to say, no one plays like Blast On.
Yeah.
No one games like Blast On.
It's true.
And DMC aid.
Yeah, I mean, like Zeke did all right, but I don't know if it's DMCA. He didn't hit the notes yet. Yeah.
He did all right.
Yeah. But it was essentially just ads straight up in the game for other things. And the company that makes the game decided that because of the backlash, they were going to remove it and potentially move the test to another game that they make, which is hilariously called Bait.
That one's free at least.
It is. It is a free game. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Cue the Mad Max gif.
Yep.
Bait.
Yep. It's true. It's true.
It's amazing though, because this is the exact stuff they kind of said wouldn't happen. Like, don't worry, we won't make you use your Facebook account. Don't worry, it's not like we're gonna put ads in all your games. And now it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Cool.
Well, it also made me think like Facebook is really the only, like what other game has like proper ads in it? Because like it's all over TV, right?
A lot of sports games do.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Around like the banners or whatever, kind of like where the ads in real life would be in real life sports. Yeah.
But funny enough, like even those have limits. Remember the big UFC issue,
right?
Where that happened a while back. So it's like I think like for especially a lot of those types of fans, it's acceptable if it's in parallel with their reality experiences. But when you start to encroach on that, is when a spotlight gets shined on it, and they're like, okay, now that that is too much.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of like, I don't think I don't know if it's a Japanese cultural thing, but a lot of like the Yakuza games, Death Stranding, like all that kind of stuff, like they had blatant like boss coffee,
Oh,
Yeah.
like that kind of shit, like just everywhere, just rampant.
Well,
So
I don't know enough about like the FCC law when it comes to. I only know like our side of the law in terms of you have to disclose hashtag ad for all that stuff. But when it comes to TV, when they do like product placement and like, the Coke is expertly pointed at the camera so that you can read the entire side label. They don't have to disclose any of that, right? Like it's just assumed upon that is a paid for advertisement or they got money
I
for
don't
that.
think there is licensing stuff that takes place, because if you know, a lot of times in those things they'll blur out brands.
Mm.
So there are times, I think, when there is that connection's broken, but I don't think it's anything like streamers. I mean, hell, just recently, interestingly enough, there was an Elgato push, and Elgato did this big push across Twitter with a lot of like big name people like Troy Baker and stuff like that,
Right.
and they were doing obvious like, we're working directly with you, there's no doubt we're getting paid stuff, and none of them used hashtag ad. So I honestly think that is more connected like just to our industry, maybe because we're seen as more kind of like rooted in being real, I guess. So people need that distinction needs to be made more. But it's the same thing like in an actor in a commercial. It's like they're obviously promoting the product, so everyone obviously assumes they're getting paid. So I think that there's a lot of established kind of just assumptions in those cases.
Yeah, I wonder how that stuff, because a lot of it's also regional, right? Like Europe or places in Europe don't have the same laws as like the US. So I wonder if they had to upload different ads for those people so that they could roll in. I don't know how that works. That seems like it turns out law is probably confusing, and there's a reason there's an entire profession devoted to breaking it down. But
Crazy how that works.
I'm not sure the intricacies of that. But I'd be interested to know exactly that. Like, how does it work? Do they just make us do it because we're idiots that like play video games and they're like, they can't pull
Most
this
likely.
off? Yeah,
Yep.
they need a straight up warning that this is an ad. Everyone else like knows that these other people, these professionals got paid, but amateurs, no way. Anyways, there's no ads in that game. It got taken away. That was their first test. It will not be their last, most likely. Facebook is basically an advertising company at this point. They will try to shoehorn that into anything possible, including their entire world of video games. So we'll see where they go to next. Perhaps a game called Bait. What else is going on? EA Dice has increased the amount of servers due to or the amount of servers for Battlefield 4 due to the increase in demand after the 2042 trailer. Which is awesome, because I will say, as someone who played it prior to that trailer, it was definitely only a handful of populated servers. Ko, I know you've been playing as recently as of like yesterday.
Oh, I got a server.
Okay,
Hell
so
yeah,
you went
dude.
got a server. Did you look at the browser to see if there are a bunch of any other?
Oh yeah,
There's a shit
there's a
ton
bunch.
now,
There's
right?
a bunch of servers up now. Absolutely.
Yeah. Did you get a server
it's-
through EA, or like what? How does that work?
I got a server
now?
through Nitrado. So I went
Okay.
through one of those like server farm side things.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, they gave me a server.
Sure.
So yeah, I have been using that, and it's been great. I'm gonna probably do the exact same thing the instant that 2042 hits. Because yeah, there's nothing like playing a 64 player game and you like know every single name on the server. It's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. So that's awesome. That game is obviously very anticipated, and they made the right move, keeping it modern.
I get asked so often, like, why aren't you playing 5? Why aren't you playing 1? Because 4 is better than both of them, and it still holds its weight so much. And also 4 is the closest to 2042 in terms of like what we're going to be getting.
Yeah.
But no, 4 is still fantastic, man. Dude, I literally
100%.
did a double take in the 4. I don't remember the name of it. I think it's Siege of Shanghai, where all of a sudden I look up, I notice some stuff falling, and that skyscraper starts falling, and I just sit there and I'm like, whoa.
Does it not crash?
And then, of course,
the
you
server
get shot in
anymore?
the head.
Oh,
Not at all. No. It works great. And but yeah, it's phenomenal, dude.
I don't know in my however many hours I put into that game when it first launched, if I ever actually saw that drop and the server stayed up, because it was definitely an issue when the game first came out, that was just straight up crashing the servers, for whatever reason. But
4 on max graphics looks like a game you'd play today.
Yeah.
Like it looks just as good as any game you would play today with everything turned up. It's pretty remarkable.
Are you running into I played I went back and played some Master Chief Collection, but me and Max decided just to play straight up online. And then we ran into Sweatlords, who just dominated the shit out of us and made us not have a fun experience over the course of 2 hours. Then we voted to never play that game again. Are you running into any of that on your server within your community? Do you got any like people pilots just out there going like 70-0 and shit?
There are definitely people who clearly like are still active players.
Okay.
And there's also a large, like I'd say probably over half the server that are just jumping in and playing because we all are. So, you know, it's a very nice balance. In terms of like skill on the server, I think almost every game last night I was top 3.
Nice.
So that should give you a good example of the skill levels on the server.
Yeah.
As I am not a regular player of the game. There are definitely a few people who are very good at the game, and especially if they get in the right vehicle, it is going to be trouble.
Yeah.
But that being said, you know, a lot of people are just playing to have fun. So it's a really great experience.
Cool. I had a great time before that trailer came out. I might jump back in. Maybe I'll join you one of these evenings if you're still doing that for your evening streams. We're
doing it tomorrow night and probably Friday night. So yeah.
Awesome. There was like a small rumor about what that Dice LA team is working on as it pertains to 2042. But I don't want to misquote the rumor. It was something along the lines, I'm just going to misquote it. It was something along the lines that they are bringing a bunch of
I don't want to misquote it. Here I go.
Yeah. It was, they're bringing back a bunch of old maps from like Battlefield history and 2042ifying them on the new engine, apparently. Or something to that effect. So I'm sure that will come from the EA Play event happening in July. Just like the next rumor, that is apparently a Dead Space revival is currently in development at Motive.
All that.
Yeah. I was talking with my chat, like.
But I also saw Dan's tweet, like saying, like, didn't that studio just implode? Like, something like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, it's kind of a Blizzard situation, except not quite as parasitic. Where the company, like a lot of the people that made the original Dead Space games are no longer working at that company. So anything to come out would be significantly different. That being said, a lot of the people that were on that team are now working on that other game, but it's like the Dead Space game based in the PUBG universe, which I am very skeptical about.
What?
You remember that? We talked about that for a while. Yep. We talked about this on this show. It is, I don't remember the name of it. It is literally a Dead Space style game, the Callisto Protocol.
Oh my God.
And it is actually based in the PUBG universe. Yes.
I remember seeing this trailer. I don't think I ever remember the PUBG.
It's weird though. It's weird because the game looks pretty good and it has a lot of good people on the thing. And it's not like, yeah, it's from the people that made PUBG. No, they actually make a point to be like, it's in the same universe as PUBG. I have no idea how much they had to get paid for that to happen. But yeah, it's, I'm guessing it was just some like massive financial backing situation.
Yeah. I guess I like blanked out from the shock that this was in the PUBG universe. Cause I don't remember seeing this trailer. I remember everything about this when it was shown at the Game Awards. I do not recall the PUBG conversation.
Well, what's interesting is it makes me wonder if they're going to make some kind of hybrid Battlefield game that's based in the Callisto Protocol thing. And that's one of the reasons they're trying to say it's part of the PUBG universe is because they want to like do another big battle royale kind of thing, except maybe involving like humans and robots or the creatures from whatever this is.
Yeah.
You know, like there has to be some reason that they're trying to connect the two IPs.
Yeah,
but we'll have to see.
That's it's weird. That's weird.
The game looks great. I mean, if you were to have told me that there's no connection to PUBG, I would probably be like super hyped for this game and being like, oh, it's the next Dead Space. Like this is the next Dead Space. You know what I mean? But yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely does. Don't know about the PUBG
where are you guys
aspect.
dropping? I'm dropping in ages 7 because I'm no pussy.
That's Zeke playing BR right there. That's great. It's good stuff.
Hmm.
Actually, PUBG.
I went to the Dead Space wiki and I was like, what would be the best location to use for that joke?
There you go. Topical.
Aegis 7 seemed like a good pick.
Good.
Weird. I did not know that. Well, with this being made and now apparently this Dead Space revival, Motive.
Rumor.
Yeah, again, rumor, very much so. But this one's got enough traction where I think like Jeff Grubb has said that it was. Eurogamer corroborated what Jeff Grubb is saying, and now Jamatsu.com is also reporting it. So it seems all but confirmed at this point. With that said,
after 3, it's going to be interesting to see where they're going to take it.
Well, they said they said they're going to like start over, which also has me worried because like 1 and 2 were pretty good games. They were great.
They're not only, I was going to say, they're not only pretty good games. They're pretty good games today.
Yeah.
They still look good. The gameplay's solid. Like you don't really need to fix that wheel, if you know what I mean. Like it's Dead Space 1 and 2 are classic games.
Totally.
It still hold up.
And then 3 never came out. So they could just make 3.
I liked 3, so I'm not gonna. I liked honestly, I liked anything Dead Space. I just like the world. Like I thought the whole thing was just so cool.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a BioShock 2 situation where it's like it's a fun game. It may not be the best Dead Space game. BioShock 2 may have not been the best BioShock game, but it was still fun. Like they're still fun games. So
yeah,
I don't know. I liked it.
It definitely didn't have the same as someone who usually does not like scary games. 3 was not necessarily in the same vein for 1 and 2. Like
it felt different.
Yeah. I think the co-op stuff was definitely like an influence on the action-y aspect of it. But 1 and 2 were very good and are still horrifying to this day. A lot of good scares in there. From like the opening of the game all the way till the end of the game. But
I was personally like the thing that was most revolutionary for me for those games was like, I don't have to aim at a head. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Great.
That was the coolest thing, man. Like you're literally disassembling your enemies.
Yeah.
Like that was the coolest thing to me. Like that no game had really done that at that point.
And like the idea of changing how the gun is going to shoot and all that stuff like that, it was cool. It was a lot of fun gameplay wise.
What was your favorite weapon in the game?
It was
remember?
It was the base gun that was just you could
just the 3 laser pointer. Yeah.
I never really used one past that.
Of the magnetic saw blade, the one where it would shoot out the saw blade and you'd be able to like move that around. It was pretty cool.
Much as I hate it, same.
Yeah, dude, it was a cool weapon, man.
That one had
a cool weapon.
It had a pretty expansive like upgrade system as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could even change like what the weapons did sometimes. Yeah, it's a cool game, dude. It's a cool game, and it had character upgrades and it did the whole thing.
Yeah.
Had the super cool UI that was like built into your character.
Oh yeah, and, like
really immersive.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck. Why are they remaking that?
I know, right? How are you going to make that better? It's
I don't know.
Oh my lord.
You're right.
Oh,
I don't know how they will make that better. Yeah. And that is kind of in general the biggest news of the week. We're in that post E3 week where things are kind of slowing down. People are still reacting to all that stuff, and Square is out there putting their IP addresses for everyone to see. So we talk about what we've been playing. I want to start with a doozy here. Both me and Co did some sponsored streams yesterday. I had a different experience.
You're talking about Industry of Titans, right?
We're going to talk about it, but first we're going to start with old Dark Alliance.
There it is.
Both did.
Yeah, I want to. I'm so excited to hear about this because I came back because I hadn't like really been paying attention to Twitter all that much. And then I came back and I saw like Dark Alliance has some not controversy, but shit going on. So please,
yeah. Well,
it's a D&D game.
It's even more interesting. Like, I think in general, when sponsored streams happen, there are the streamers that are associated with the type of game that do the sponsored stream for it. I feel like this game, they literally sponsored like everyone to play it. I saw like Hassan Abi, Mizkif, and Lyric playing together, which are like okay, that's a trio. I think there was also a fourth there whose name I'm unfortunately forgetting. But it's just like that's a group I
Was it
wouldn't.
Soda Pop?
No, it starts with an M, and I'm just terrible at remembering names. Moxie was the other one. Yeah.
I
Um,
am not sure who that is.
they definitely put a lot of money to it in terms
Okay,
of
like
sponsoring
that sounds
it.
like at least six figures right there.
Yeah, like there's
God,
a
yes.
lot of money. There's a
their
lot of
level?
money being thrown around it.
Oh Lord.
I saw there's probably at least 20, maybe 30 streams yesterday that were sponsored to play this. Both myself and Co included. Co played solo. I was playing with Dan yesterday. I think we both played the same experience. I definitely think that if you're playing solo, we'll let Co speak here, but I think it's definitely aggravating. Where with me and Dan, we just kind of like laughed and had fun with it. But yeah, let's talk about Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance here. Co, you were playing old Drizzt, the rogue.
I started with Drizzt.
Okay.
Yes, the rogue.
Okay.
Now, at first when I started playing this game, I the combat was a little clunky. The enemy AI was a little bit questionable. When I took this sponsorship, this is I think it was a little before the game. We had seen the trailer, and I was feeling okay with it. I'm a big fan of Dungeons and Dragons. I loved Icewind Dale, and these are like iconic characters. So I was thinking, hey, maybe this could be pretty good. Then I saw the trailer, and the trailer actually looked pretty good. I was like, all right, full item system. Like these levels look cool. The graphics look fun. Let's do this. I was feeling good about it. So when I came in the game, the only kind of initial impressions I had was our buddy Skill Up did a review about it, and I'd never watch his reviews, but I frequently see what they're titled. I think it was something along the lines of, "This is the worst game of the year."
He was pretty brutal.
I think that was the name of the title. So I was like, okay, here we go. I'm still going to go in with an open mind, but like let's see how it is. So I Drizzt was okay playing solo. I felt like the challenge was pretty easy. I wasn't the lowest difficulty. The AI was questionable. The combat was a little clunky. I was able to clear the mission, but it clearly, like, there was nothing really special about it. It just felt very kind of like you're doing your thing, and like it was not very special, and there were definitely some issues, but it wasn't that bad.
Sure.
It wasn't terrible. Then I don't know if you can skip ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah. I heard all about the
yes.
the adventures
so then I was
of Bree.
Then I was like, let's try the Archer. And the Archer, and I think you may see it here in just a second. The Archer, I started playing the Archer, and the very first group of mobs, I think this is it right here. The very first group of mobs that I come up against, I'm like, okay, let's shoot them. And you can see in my face where I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah, they're not
like,
responding.
This is a problem. So then I moved forward a little bit, and I'm like, well, they respond now. And then I was like, oh, okay, all right. So maybe that was just a bugged area. Let me back up a little bit.
Yeah.
They're walking away.
The disrespect.
Oh, okay.
They don't care.
You can, yeah. So I'm sitting here, and this is when I realized. It was this moment when I realized they just wasted a lot of money. Like to think that this is a game ready to have a most likely $500,000+ advertising budget thrown at Twitch.
Yeah.
Like this game is not ready. You can see right there, I'm just like, oh man. Like I played this Archer for a little bit, and I eventually I just turned it off. I was like, I'm not, like, nope. I was like, this is not ready. This is not, nope. Went and played the Hammer guy.
Just to be totally clear, like this is Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance.
Yeah.
Released June 21st, 2021.
Yep.
Not in early access.
No, it's full release.
The full game.
It's out on Game Pass, and it's $40 outside of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it has like major design issues. Design and AI issues. Like it's just like it's basically it's just not It's just not a thing. And here's where it gets even weirder. So it's Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, but the game doesn't go by Dungeons and Dragons rules. So like I was playing Drist and I completed the first level and I went to upgrade my dexterity because he's Drist. Like obviously he's probably got weapon finesse and he's a dual wield ranger. So let me go up my dex. None of my damage went up. So then I start putting my strength up, and strength is the melee damage up stat.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm sitting here like, what's going on? And I start looking around and it turns out like the stats it doesn't work like D&D. It does its own thing. And it's just like, but you called yourself Dungeons and Dragons. Like you're the brand. Like why are you being different?
For sure.
Like it's just, it's weird. So the TLDR here is that this game not only has crazy bugs, traps and stuff, they just don't work. Like traps, you'll just get hit randomly if you're anywhere near them. Like traps have like fire that go in and out.
Oh, those
and
traps,
you could be standing in front of it. Like the fire will go out, and then you can run by it, and you'll just take fire damage. The same thing would happen to the spikes. Sometimes they'd hit you like way before. The sound would sometimes get unlinked. I mean, there were times, like especially on Drist, where it felt okay. And I definitely thought like with this character here, like here's another example. They can't go off the ledge. So they just run back and stand still while you kill them.
So we did that to a little bit later in this level, or maybe before. There's like it's one of the side quests. And me and Dan both sat on like a ledge above it and just used our range.
I got up the ledge.
Yeah.
You just didn't move.
We just used our range abilities and like killed a boss.
You honestly
was like,
looked
what? No.
Like the fucking T-1000 when you're shooting those arrows too.
Oh yeah.
Just like nothing else moves except the arms.
Dude, and you just saw in that clip.
John, I know this hurts.
Dude, at that point, it was at that moment you saw when I paused it, I was like, I can't play this character. Like this game is broken for this character. It is unplayable with this character. So yeah, it was kind of a mess. So then I tried playing the hammer guy, and he had all sorts of issues too.
Oh, you played the barbarian. Okay.
I played the barbarian.
That's who
dude.
Dan was playing,
And for some reason, every single time I'd kill an enemy, they would just get yeeted off into existence. So I was like,
that's melee combat.
Second I finish an enemy, just like gone. I'd just be like,
dude,
okay.
So I think in a lot of ways, the reason that they were pushing so much like co-op play is because all of those things you just mentioned are hidden very easily the more people that are added to the game.
The game is clearly meant for co-op play.
Right.
Like there are times when and I didn't get to too many of these myself, but I saw like a huge glaring one in Skill Up's review, which I ended up watching after I was done, where like the encounters are balanced around having multiple people doing multiple things. And it doesn't get like better if you have one player. Like at one point he was fighting a boss and the boss spawns ads during the fight that are literally impossible to take down if you're solo because of the way they're coming. And they surrounded him so he couldn't move and then just killed him. And it's just like,
yeah. We
man.
like where you found frustration with it. Me and Dan were just like laughing our ass off yesterday with all the
honestly,
absurdity.
I wasn't frustrated. I was more just disappointed.
Sure.
Because like, man, I was really hoping that this would be a game that I could play for like a few days, maybe even a week or two. Like I was looking forward to it being good enough to want to farm sets. Like the items have stats and sets on them. Like there's some cool stuff in there. Cool. If this part was good, that would be a lot of fun to participate in.
Yeah.
But I never got mad. I was just like, this is like Dungeons and Dragons. To hear Larian Studios talk about how much they care about doing right to the name for Baldur's Gate 3, and then to see something like this, where it just feels like a complete farming of the IP, it's such a dichotomy.
Yeah.
You know, it's really unfortunate. I had high hopes that because it was a D&D game, it would be held to a higher standard, let alone a regular. Like I was hoping it would be better than most games, but instead it's just like, no.
Yeah,
it's just not.
It's one of those things.
I wonder if I feel like someone in the dev team was like got slighted. It's like, oh, you think archers are fucking pussy? Well, and it made him in the game, made him just totally OP. Like they can't be like they can just down bosses and like,
yeah,
I'll show you how good an archer can be.
It's definitely one of those things where I don't know if this was a thing like, hey, we have to launch this day, or because some of the stuff could actually be like fixed in a lot of ways. Um, but yeah. Also to clarify, I saw a bunch of people in chat. The game was not muted. There was some other song that I played that muted the VOD right before we actually started playing. So that was not. They did not sponsor streamers to play a game that had DMCA able music.
I am sorry. I'm
that.
about to respond to one guy, but I
Uh-oh.
cannot let this comment. I cannot let this comment
Here
slide.
we go.
Somebody said, "How can you say that about Baldur's Gate 3 when the early access was so bad?" Brother, it was an early access.
Yeah.
It was not that. You can't compare that to this game.
Yeah.
And for the record, the Baldur's Gate 3 early access is phenomenal. It's just technically buggy and doesn't have all the content. So that
There you go.
Usa.
Yeah, and even as someone who's not like really super well versed or whatever in CRPGs,
we're good.
BG Baldur's Gate 3 was fantastic.
It was great. Yeah, I had a great time.
Good.
I'll skip ahead here to the crowning example of issues. I think is this. So we did the first mission one difficulty bump up. The way that they do the difficulty in the game, they call it very cutely CR levels instead of like difficulty levels. It's CR2. If you do play this game and grab it on Game Pass, which I think if you grab a bunch of friends and you are able to laugh at the hilarious issues in it, might actually be worth the time. I think it's around like a 15 to 20 hour experience. Be careful about setting the first level to level 2 because you go in with absolutely no items whatsoever. And it was a struggle fest for me and Dan, especially the last boss. But in some aspects, there's other aspects where like we could just get rezzed. The crowning moment of, I might just have to go find the clip here. Essentially, you could like, so the fighter has some sort of taunt. I think that's what that little like red glare is that's on Plubu Bonesucker, the greatest boss name ever, which I was a huge fan of. Old Bonesucker. We essentially split the boss, but we couldn't take much hits from old Plubu because he would like one-shot us. But Dan over there figured out a way to get the boss in between the ledges, and the boss would clip through and instantly die on the first level. So we kept doing that, and then we got one shot or something like that. And when it loaded us back in the game, both of us were like half bodies loaded in. And it took about 30 seconds for us to like reload our full bodies into it and actually be able to fight. So it just looks like it's kind of rough around all the edges outside of even outside of like AI and how they respond to range combat. And
this might be I don't know like if this is an easy question to answer, but it seemed like it was pretty smart. Slightly 76 asks, do you think they made an agreement with Microsoft for Game Pass day one and there was no wiggle room with regards to a release date?
I don't, if anything, that discredits
Is that a good
Microsoft,
question? It seems like it.
But maybe.
I honestly, these days, I don't think so. Because especially with the timing of the release, there's nothing really going on right now. There's almost nothing in July. So it would not have been terrible for them to have a big release in July because then there'd be no competition. They could hype it up even more. And more importantly, Microsoft these days is not really going after products that make them look bad. You know what I mean? And this is one of those situations where the response to this game on a public level has been bad. So I don't think that they're going to pull a CDPR. Ouch, it hurts to say that. And rush it out the door regardless. I don't think it's a situation where they're beholden to anybody in that regard. Yeah. I think if anything, Microsoft's probably pretty disappointed about this. We can ask Phil when he gets. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm not gonna not put him on the spot.
Not gonna do that. Yeah, no. No.
By the way, Dat Mods, who's a PoE focused streamer, played through this yesterday. He was unsponsored, I think, and was given his opinion the entire time. It took him 10 hours to beat everything in the game, and he did some max tier CR content. So
10 hours?
Yeah, 10 hours to beat everything in the game with max tier CR content. That's a little bit less than what I was expecting. I think
wow.
I think I was either told or expected like 10 to 15. So
I'm going to be honest. I didn't hear anything, but I was hoping it was around like
challenge rating.
20-ish. Oh, man.
yeah, same. Yeah, so
Took me a second to figure out what CR meant.
Yep. It's an interesting game in a lot of ways. It was definitely one of those sponsored streams that I think people will watch sponsored streams, one, because they're just generally interested in the game. I think the word was out that this was not necessarily the greatest. And so a lot of people were just like, can't wait to see this fucking train wreck, right? I can't wait to see this fuck up. A lot of that was because me and Co share so much of an audience, and he did his stream yesterday morning, and I did it like 2 hours after that with Dan. But it was crazy. It was crazy to see how much money they put across Twitch.
Yeah.
For this, right? Like very surprising. There were more streamers than did the that Cock Media stuff. That's how many people were doing this. Like more streamers than that. And that was like a very large portion of the streamer base. So
just a double cock up.
Yeah. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing. Let me ask you this, Code. Do you think that it's salvageable at all? Do you think if they
I
go
got
back
that
and
question
change
a
some
lot.
stuff? I did too, and I said yes in some
feel-
aspects, but maybe not in some others.
I feel that this game is salvageable in the same way that I feel Cyberpunk is salvageable. Where it's like, yes, it absolutely could be a good game, but it's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's going to take major systems being overhauled. It's going to take an AI fix. It's going to take bug fixing. Like it's not the kind of thing that they're going to do away with a couple patches. It would take a coordinated multi-month to even multi-year effort if they wanted to make this into like, I think a game that would be just like a good game. It's not the kind of thing that a couple patches is going to fix. There's some fundamental issues.
Yeah.
Now, did you
From the
mention
sounds
other
of it,
games-
I hate saying it, but maybe even more content. Like
Yeah,
that sucks. I didn't realize it was only 10 hours, man.
I didn't either.
Did you mention another game before this that is like a third-person action D&D game?
There's the original Dark Alliance.
Well,
I don't know if it was.
There are other games, yeah, but what are you alluding to?
Right. No, I'm wondering if they've ever tried this format before with a D&D game, because D&D games, like tabletop, is turn-based, like the combat is turn-based. So I'm wondering, like, if this is their first, try at doing full-on non-turn-based third-person action. And second, like, could they do a third-person action with sort of like, I don't know, like VATS, kind of like,
Dude,
like you like go in and you stop and like, all right, do this, and then
They
like
could.
the action happens or whatever.
But I think here's the big thing. I think you're probably talking about the Neverwinter MMO.
Right.
Because
Okay,
it works
sure.
well in that kind of thing where there's like a global cooldown and you're spamming abilities with timers. It kind of it's action, but at the same time, it's kind of turn-based as you're dealing with all these different timers at the same time. It's standard MMO
Okay.
feel. But that's a lot different
Sure.
than an action game.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Neverwinter would probably be the closest thing. And it's still going.
Yeah, I mean, they
Believe it or not.
had
We were just talking about that a couple weeks ago.
they had that Bard update at Summer Game Fest. Yeah, I think that was Summer
Mhm.
Game Fest, maybe PC Gaming Show. Yeah, I was looking at the devs. I think it's Took Games is how you would pronounce that. They had one other game that they worked on for this called Live Lock that came out in 2016, which was a top-down shooter with solo and cooperative play that was published on or by Perfect World in August of 2016. Looks like it was similar, at least according to this wiki, it was similar to the Diablo series in gameplay, but with guns in a post-apocalyptic setting. So not necessarily like a storied studio when it comes to at least games that they had put out. I don't know who, at least on the in the studio, like where some of their what are some of the other things that they have worked on, like as a entity, but doesn't look like much. They're definitely pretty new. So they got bought by Hasbro in 2019, I think, solely for this. It looks like. So yeah, a little rough. Maybe not the best on their first go.
I'm also just curious. Are the bones of the game there to put flesh onto, or does this game just need to be like never mind, fuck it, we're out.
I thought the loot aspect, as someone that will play a game that is pretty rough, but enjoy the looting aspect, I thought the loot was cool. Dan in classic Dan way got a legendary on the first level yesterday, and it looked like it looked as a legendary item would. It had a cool looking different art to it. They had skins in the game, so I could like skin my, I think I might do it here in just a bit. I skinned my axe to look like it had like a lich's face on it or something. So it looks like they've got some cool looking itemization. And the item, the character looks do change as you equip items. There are different looks. It's not just always the same looking fighter. So like in that aspect, Zeke, the bones of that system seem fairly competent and fine. Granted, that was after one level. I don't know like what different type of things you can get. I got that axe right there is like acid based, and I think acid ignores armor, or that was a bug. I'm not sure, but I could just go straight through armor and it would deal damage to the HP pool of the next level.
Super strong.
Yeah. There's also, I mean, like now I'm going through the sponsored checklist here. There's a bunch of different moves that you unlock with gold. Gold is also used to upgrade your weapons. There's like feat points that you can go and change. You can find like attribute points. So like, it seems like that aspect of the game was competent, was like, 7 out of 10 material, like fine. It seemed like it serviceable. It's just once you get into the actual gameplay, I think if I could snap my fingers and go back to shooting those mobs and them just kind of literally standing there, not kind of, they were literally just standing there taking damage from his archer. Yeah.
The only thing they're missing was like a big like yawn and stretch.
Yeah. You definitely have to fix that. But
is there any RP in this?
In the sense of, do they talk?
Just what you want to do. Oh, yes.
There is some
yes,
talking. There's some dialogue between the characters as you like choose, and like I think it was random one-offs. I don't know how to. Co might be be able to explain it better. Like for me, it was. I think my character, who was the dwarf, locked up the barbarian at one point, or like threw him in prison because the dwarfs like control this land or something. But it was definitely like a one-off banter where I was like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, where did that come from? And then nothing was said again. So I don't know if that like carries on or if that's, I think Vermintide does something similar to that effect. But yeah, Co, did you, they have like a cutscene when you start off to tell us the story.
If you play solo, you're a silent protagonist pretty much. Outside of like battle quips. Like every so often it'd be like, for the greenhouse on the hill or some shit like that. But it's never like interesting lore or anything. It's really, it's not great. And it's kind of funny because I didn't even know that there was banter until someone was like, wow, it's so quiet if you play by yourself. And I was like, honey, like what do you mean, fair friend? That was kind of unfortunate. There's not really any monologuing from the sounds of it.
Yeah. One big flaw, Zeke, you're asking about the bones. All these moves that I'm like buying right here, as far as I know, I didn't check it because I checked once and the game up to that point made me believe that it was true. Maybe I'm wrong about this. When you purchase the moves in town, it tells you what those moves are, and it tells you like it shows the little move happening and all that stuff. You can't open a move list or anything once you load into the level. So unless you know what the move was that you unlocked, you just have to like guess how to input it once you're actually playing the game. So all of the moves that I got, I remembered how to do one, and it happened by complete circumstance. And that's the only move I did for the rest of the game for like the next 45 minutes. I did not see like a move list anywhere once I started actually fighting and whatnot. So that was also kind of crappy because like I would have liked to use those moves that I used that I paid gold for.
Oh, so you want the game to hold your hand, huh, JP?
I do.
You want the game to tell you how to use the moves you paid for.
Yes, I do.
You all have brains, don't you?
Why
don't you use them once in a while?
I am a streamer. I gave my brain up a handful of years ago. Okay.
Pathetic casuals.
Yeah.
Thank you, chat, for that one.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, I do see some people that are like doing their best to defend this game and stuff. And here's the thing. I don't think we are angry if you're having fun with it. In fact, if you are, especially like I do know of some friend,
admittedly,
I know some friend groups. In fact, I was just looking, Technique, a great streamer. He is on Twitter, like relatively defending this game. And that's because he's been playing with his friends and they're having a good time together. And they're kind of seeing the good part of the game because they're always playing together. And you know, that things are more balanced. They're just like JP said, you're not paying as much attention to the bugs.
Or you're laughing,
you know, like,
them. You're just losing your shit.
Or that too.
That's what
But here's the thing. Us having problems and issues with the game, especially the solo play, doesn't mean we're telling you not to have a good time. We're just telling you our experiences. And if you're liking the game, awesome. Yeah. Great. I wish I could say I was too. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, more power to you if you're enjoying it. I wish I was too. And I hope that they patch it up enough to where we can say we're having fun.
Yeah. I'll say what I said yesterday. The best thing I could say about the game is if you have Game Pass, you have this game. If you've got a bunch of friends, you can jump into it and figure it out for yourself.
And it is definitely, from everything I've heard, more fun with friends.
Yep.
This is a game designed to play with your buddies. Play with your buddies and just like run into all the fights. And you will have a significantly better experience.
Well,
than a lot of people.
100%, because you know that's the mace that I was like skinning for reference. But yeah, because there's only one ranged character in the archer. Funny enough, the only character that I saw like a heal apart from potions was also the archer. She gets like an AoE heal that you can put down. So it definitely seems like the characters have synergy with one another.
Sorry. Do friends come with the Game Pass too? No.
Funny enough,
but
I don't think there's matchmaking in this. Is there?
I don't know. But no, actually there's not, because Skill Up was talking about how you have to use the Steam thing to like invite and join other people, which is a mess. Okay. I don't even know if there's any ways to do it. But that being said, if you are looking for people to play with, jump into a streamer's Discord and ask. Seriously, especially for a game on Game Pass, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of other people are just like, Oh, Chad is saying there is matchmaking.
Yeah,
by the way.
Same.
Chad is saying there is matchmaking.
Just quick play, I guess. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't do it. But that being said, you'd be surprised, especially for a game that's on Game Pass, how many people will be like, yeah, I'll try it out with you. Like, sure. Like, and just meet somebody new and play with them. Yeah. Like, it's totally fine. So yeah, there is voice comms in the game. I'm never seeing a push to talk option, so you're good.
I think.
And also, I want to mention this because, actually, you know what? JP, you go first.
I was gonna say, I think by default, voice activation is bound to the mouse wheel as well, so just be wary of that. Okay. I think that's
like a
default.
Click or a scroll.
I think it's a scroll.
You have to scroll while you're talking.
I don't know. There's a lot of things. One of my favorite parts, Co probably also found this when I first booted up the game, and you go to the option menu. If you're not using a controller, you have to click every single time you want to go down on an option or up on an option. And this includes
move a bar left or right.
This includes a bar that has 100 different settings on it, like a volume bar from 0 to 100. Which was, I sat there about probably 20 seconds trying to click the goddamn bar in the center and drag it one way or the other. Nope, you have to hit the arrows on the side. So it is a fully consolified option setting. One of which I highly recommend using a controller to play the game with. Anyways, Zeke, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, outside of this like game specifically, I see a lot of, every time someone talks about Friends, like one of us streamers like, Friends, what are those? Like that kind of shit. Like, just want to reiterate, or just if you didn't know, all three of us probably have Discord servers. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And in my Discord server, and I'm sure probably both of yours, there has a looking for group thing. If
Yep,
you want
absolutely.
friends to play with, please take advantage of our looking for group shit.
That's why they exist.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you are part of these communities, guess what? If you like it or not, you've got some friends.
It's
I
true.
guarantee you, if you're active in any of our channels, there are other people who would probably love to play with you.
It's
So
true.
check out the LFG things and do it. So yeah, takes
Yep.
the littlest bit of effort, and you'd probably be surprised. Maybe even meet someone you like and start playing with.
Exactly. Cool. That's I mistakenly called this game Baldur's Gate: Dark Alliance. This is Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, to stay on brand there. Fairly certain I spent the
Important
past
difference.
2 hours of the sponsored stream saying the exact wrong name. So shout out to
Did you really?
I'm fairly certain I did. We had some tech issues at the start of the stream.
Did we make sure to tell JP the verbiage? Like he said it wrong like 100 times.
Yeah.
Someone send him a message right now.
Yeah. Definitely had the creative brief open. Definitely looked at it for about 5 seconds and thought, we'll be fine. And then, it happened. All right. We got like 20 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less than that. Co, I know you played a bunch of demos. I
did.
I finished Ratchet and Clank, by the way, just real quick. I echo everything Co said. That game is incredible. It's through the roof, insane.
It's a new standard.
It is a new standard for graphics in video games. Every game that I play will, from this point, be judged against that. It is. It blows my mind the things that they do in that game from a graphics perspective, and like literally jumping from fully loaded level to loaded level with zero. And I literally mean you're walking into a portal and it's loaded, and then you're walking back over into the portal and it's loaded, and it's just magic at that point.
What's even crazier, you warp into a level, there's like a giant set piece that happens in front of you, and then you warp back, and it's like, dude, those portions when you're on the bars and you're doing the grinding on the bars and stuff. Oh my god, I got goosebumps during those scenes. They were fun.
Incredible.
They were not only incredible, they were fun.
I had so much fun.
Technical masterpiece, dude.
The game was definitely like every 5 minutes you get a new thing thrown at you, whether it's a weapon or some tool or some new level thing. It's definitely an orgasm. It's a lot of fun to play. The story was fine. I didn't have really any issues with the story. It's great. It's a fantastic game. If you have a PS5, definitely pick it up. It is without a doubt a showcase game for that system. Yeah. And then just more Guilty Gear is all I've played. But Co, you did a bunch of these demos for the...
I did, I think, 3 days of the demothon, where I just basically cherry-picked demos. I completed almost all of them. A few I didn't. Like, I would play it and get a good grasp of the game, or felt like I've seen what I wanted to and then move on. But man, there are some phenomenal demos out there. Just to give some highlights, Death Trash. Death Trash is awesome. It is unique. It is interesting. It is like a full art. Oh, I'm not going to spoil it. Don't worry.
I know. I'm just kidding.
I'm not going to spoil it. Yeah, I'm going to be careful because here's the thing. All these demos, almost all these demos, you can still go get. I'm just going to
they're demos,
say this
though.
real
They're
quick.
not.
No, they're not the full game. But I'm just going to say this real quick. Whoever's idea it was to do Next Fest, amazing idea to get a bunch of indie devs to put demos out. Phenomenal. But whoever walked up behind him and said, yeah, let's take those demos down at the end of the fest, absolutely terrible idea. Because the amount of people it's crazy when after the event you can be like, yeah, I had so much fun with this demo, and someone's like, oh cool, let me go play it, and they can't. Yeah. And it's just like there's nothing good out of that. That's not a good thing. It's just a lack of PR and a lack of people being able to play. So anyway, they should do Next Fests every year, and I know I'm going to be tuning in moving forward. But for the love of God, just leave the demos up. Have it be a big demo release event instead of a limited time, you have to do it now event. That just makes no sense.
Do you know which ones, for example, were not available so that people don't go?
I tried to play one today that was not available. I think it was called Road 98. Okay. And it looks super cool. Like it's like this choose your own adventure hitchhiking game where you play like this person and you can either try to go home or try to join a gang, or it looks wild. And I watched the trailer and I was like, oh hell yeah, let me play this demo. Route 96, thank you. And I went to play the demo and it's just gone. And people were like, no, check again. It's definitely there. And then chat was like, no, apparently it was part of the demothon and it's gone now. So also I played this amazing game called Lake. Oh, anyway, so going back to the demothon, Death Trash is awesome. It's very unique. I highly recommend it for people that like kind of action RPG things and unique settings. I did play Lake. It's Lake.
Really? There's no wood chipper?
I was really, really hoping there would be a twist, but it's clearly a game that is designed. The male aspect of it is just a conveyor belt to move you through this relatively complex social, my life is strange like thing going on, except without the crazy sci-fi stuff.
It was just a demo,
people,
though, right?
It was just a demo. I wouldn't hold your breath.
You might not want to spoil the twist.
But yeah, anyway,
I'm still hoping, man.
There clearly is content there for people that are fans of like social stuff, social situations and weird and awkward things. Like she's returning to her hometown after like 20 plus years. And just in the first little bit, she has many interesting, awkward social things. So I'm sure some people like that kind of stuff. And a lot of people in my chat said it was really chill. Like they just kind of like listening to it. It's fully voice acted. So, it's there, but I don't think it's going to have the
They're going to be put into a wood chipper sometime in that game or no?
We can only hope. We can only hope.
All right.
Other big shout outs, Gloomwood. Gloomwood is awesome. It is by the New Blood guys, so it's kind of got an old school retro throwback. It is basically like a spooky, weird thief game that runs really well in this weird environment. I had a great time playing it. I was super bummed when the demo was over. This is me watching one of the gameplay trailers.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's the same thing. You're not missing anything. But It was really cool. It gave me some serious, like, when old school games were amazing kind of vibes. There's some awesome voice acting in it. Definitely a winner, and I will be revisiting that one for sure.
Cool.
Unmetal
feels so familiar, like CD-ROM style. Like this looks like shit I know.
More than a few people when I played this was like, this is totally a Zeke game. This is totally a Zeke game. So yeah, I think you'll really like it. Unmetal was hilarious. I loved Unmetal. I was laughing pretty much the whole time. It's basically just a giant like joke on Metal Gear Solid, but it actually has like some kind of cool, fun gameplay elements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had a great time with Unmetal. Another game that I was sad when it ended. Terra Nil, which is that game where you start with like a desolate wasteland and you have to make it. It's a puzzle game.
I played this off stream. And I was like, this is just a fucking puzzle game. That's wild.
It's a puzzle game.
Yeah.
And it's a fun puzzle game. I ended up beating the demo and it was really cool. Like it's this multi-layered puzzle game where you have to balance like your resource use with generating resources and covering the map and accomplishing goals. And yeah, this was definitely a game when I was at the end, I was like, oh man. Like damn.
I wonder, like, I'm curious how much they actually put in, like what else is put in here. Cause we got to like tier 3 or 4 when like the airship unlocked. I wonder like how advanced that gets.
My guess is that we may have unlocked a lot of stuff, but it looks like that airship was designed because at the very end it shows one of many different continents on the planet getting filled in. Yeah. So my guess is the difficulty is going to start going up. Like maybe they're going to put you in a planet or in an area without a river, so you have to make your own rivers, and that of course comes with all its own problems. And I'm sure there's probably at least another tech level or two. You don't have a ship anymore. So you're not going to be building another ship. So, what are you going to be doing in the next areas? So there's lots of ways they can go with it. And I'm there for it. I had a great time with it. It was fun. Mm-hmm.
It's very pretty
and it was good.
The music changes as stuff gets built in the world. Like they definitely know what they're doing.
And did you did the humidity stuff too? That was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I understood the humidity. Well, understood is a loose word. I
don't really feel like humidity. I don't really feel like you can spoil this game, so I'll go ahead.
No. It's not necessarily spoiling. It's more just like, oh, that's the humidity. Anyways, and then I just did something else.
Well, again, not to spoil it because honestly, it's good. It's probably good that you know this if you are going to play it. When you get when you nail the humidity and the temperature, it starts raining. Like it actually like very comforting sounds and everything. But here's what's awesome: anywhere the rain touches turns green. So every time it rains, your whole map starts turning green in the areas you couldn't get to.
That's important.
Which is awesome. So important. Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Don't spoil the game. I'm not really spoiling. I'm spoiling gardening.
Yeah.
Like it's whatever.
Rain makes sometimes things pretty.
It's like water. Yeah, it turns out. But anyway,
I'm just
another.
like, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm just rattling off.
I'm
We're-
just
yeah, we're
saying,
gonna
like,
move on to the
I'm
game.
super excited that like indie games and demos, like, we get to be like, we're gonna start being in the first half of the show and not just like an afterthought at the end of
Well,
the
it depends if
drop
you're
frames.
playing them or co. Is really.
Well, yeah, I was going to say
If we're
that's
gonna be-
mostly
Yeah.
you, not the demos.
Yeah.
It's you that we're trying to relegate to the end of the show.
Don't come for the snarkiest motherfucker ever, Zeke, because I'll snark right back.
Yeah,
You better
gotta
come
be
at the
careful
king.
there.
Come at the king. You better kill the king.
Yeah, there you go.
like last couple I'll mention here. I also did War Tales. Very cool turn-based
War Tales?
sandbox game. War Tales is basically a turn-based, like medieval sandbox game. That's it's more like a smaller scale. What's the recent chivalry-like game where you take over the whole continent? But it's like large scale battles. What am I trying to say?
Mountain Blade?
I can't. Mountain Blade. Yes, thank you. It's more of like a smaller scale Mountain Blade where you have like just a few people, but you get to like travel around the map. You can take contracts, do what you want to do. There's like all this other stuff happening that you can kind of interact with or not interact with. It seems like it's going to be the kind of game when it's done that could take like a lot of people's time if they like it. A lot of random stuff going on, lot like different skills, different classes. It seemed very cool. And I definitely played it enough where I was like, I'm going to want to do a run of this when it comes out. That was cool.
Is it using any like rule set in particular? Or is it its
don't
own
think so.
game? Okay.
It's its own game.
Gotcha.
Is it kind of like Battle Brothers? Yeah. People were comparing it to Battle Brothers. It's similar from what I understand to Battle Brothers. I haven't played that. So, yeah. And then outside of that, I did the Final Fantasy demo. Chaos!
I haven't played that yet.
Really cool.
I've heard
like
that.
man, that trailer just was terrible compared to what that game is. Like the actual game has tons of different moves you can do. It feels good. There's like jobs and stuff you can get. You can be a mage. You can be a sword fighter. Like you can link combos together. It's got like a Neo style system where it's like you pick what moves go at the end of what combos, and I mean it felt pretty damn great. And there's a full loot system where you get like different types of gear, and those gears have levels on them, and they have like I think RNG stats maybe. So there's like a farming thing. There's a skill absorption system where you can like absorb skills and throw them back at the enemies. It is cool, and I definitely recommend action fans, like even if you didn't like the trailer, especially if you're like me and thought the trailer was kind of dumb. I definitely recommend trying the demo. It was nice game name.
Yes. How
but yeah,
long was it?
I'm not done with it. I played
Oh.
it for maybe an hour and a half ish, and I was not done. So, and it has more to go. I am playing on the hardest difficulty, and enemies are a little spongy, but there's like a break fatality murder system, which is kind of cool. So you can kind of like just break their stamina kind of bar down, and then you can just fatality them through the rest of their life. There's also a lot of cool gotchas, like with these particular mobs, you can absorb their fire spell, and then you can hit them with fire. Which at first I did a few times, and I was like, "Lol, fire on a fire bomb. What's that gonna do?" But if you hit them enough times, it overcharges them and they self-destruct. So, there's like cool little gotchas in the game as well, which is kind of fun. But yeah.
Can you use a different word for that? Because it made me twitch a little. Rather than gotcha.
It's true.
Oh.
You gotta adjust your vocabulary,
Like
My bad, dude.
you're talking about like I gotcha, kind of not like
Yeah.
not like gambling. Like
No,
gambling.
it didn't ask him for his credit card.
It took me a second. I was like GOTCHA. So I'm sitting here like, okay. I mean, I cannot use that if you want. That's fine.
Because you said gotcha, and immediately I could like instinctually I went, what?
You reached for your wallet and you're like, well, hold on now. Let me
Yeah.
How much is this gonna cost
Very
me?
Pavlovian. Yeah.
99 cents?
Oh man.
Well, I guess so.
Okay, so I need to write that down. Gotcha will make me tick. Okay, great. So anyway, going outside of that, I probably played like 15 plus more demos. I played a lot of like very cool side scrollers. There's a lot of kind of fun.
What about Industry of Titans? Because I know this was a big release.
Oh, yes. I know I did a sponsor stream of Industry of Titans.
Oh, this was sponsored. Okay.
2-hour sponsored event.
And I'm doing
But
one
it was
tomorrow.
great.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was really cool. This game is unique. It is a creative builder. It is I know, right? Especially after Dark Alliance. It was really fun. I had a great time with it. I definitely played it enough to realize, like, by the time I was done with my 2-hour sponsored thing, I definitely if I did not have Dark Alliance right after it, there's no question I would have kept playing it. In fact, it's one of those games where you play it for a little bit and you're like, okay, I want to restart because I know so many ways I could have done what I just did better. But yeah, you basically like you're coming in as basically a startup on the Moon Titan, and there's been a lot of failed ventures before you, so there's ruins and stuff everywhere. And the goal is to basically like accomplish these small goals while you're expanding out your new business. There's like production stuff, there's colonists to manage. You're breaking down ruins for resources. You're establishing resource lines. The buildings that you build on like the building map all have interiors like this, which then you can expand. You can connect them. You can have different floors, and you kind of like not only build the actual buildings on the main map, this one, but you're then also going in and like specking out how they work on the inside. It's a very cool system, and it leads to a lot of creative decision making. So right when I was done, like I said, I immediately thought of so many different ways I could have done it. This is almost kind of like a Tetris mini game in some ways, because every building has like a different certain shape, and then you need to kind of connect them in a way that makes sense and power them properly. And it's cool. It's really cool.
So, okay. Now this, I want to say, like, I was trying to figure out like what appealed to me about this, rather than like other builders. Other builders, it's like you can go anywhere you want. I think I like having a fence. Like I like having like you can build, but you make the shit in this little area and you can't go out of bounds. I like that. I like boundaries. I need rules. Ever since elementary school, I was taught that.
And what's kind of nice for you, Zeke, also
rules.
is the game very much works in like a crawling objective way. So it's like, okay, do this objective. Okay, you're done with that. Okay, next objective, do this. Okay, you're done with that. Next objective, do this. So it's kind of like you always have this goal you're working towards, at least in the demo, of course. Where I played it for 2 hours and I was still constantly just going objective. There's also a light defense and combat element. You can build like laser towers. And I think I ended the demo where I was supposed to build a shipyard and start making ships because like rebels will attack your place. So there's like a defense aspect as well. But it seemed really cool, man. The music by Danny B is phenomenal. So like the music
I didn't even know that.
Yes, I know. I didn't
You can
either.
buy the soundtrack, I think, for like $10.
Oh my lord.
Oh,
it's so
good old Banny Darnowski.
Not only that, but this game has a fully built-in music player. So if you like a song, there's like a little button in the top right. It just shows all the tracks and you just double click on them and like listen to whatever track you like over. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
For those that don't know, Danny B is most famous for our intro tune here on Drop Frames. Yeah, that's his claim to fame. So
Yep. And good vibes to him. He's doing some medical stuff on Twitter. And he's an extremely talented guy. And, I think I speak for the whole show when I say we're rooting for you to get through all your stuff. And, oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Super talented dude.
Does this game ever get, like, overbearing or micromanagey? That's my biggest
The whole
worry.
Game is micromanaging.
Ah, shit. Okay.
Sorry. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, but the whole game is basically kind of like you're micromanaging the colony. It's the fact that you can zoom into the buildings and like actually place the components, even more accentuates that fact. I'm not gonna lie to you, like that's how it is. Yeah.
Cool. All right. It's a cool way of, like, I feel like if you look at Sim City, right? Like Sim City was always like, we need bigger city, we need more, as many buildings as possible. And these guys are like, what if we just looked inward, right? Like, what if we just took our 5 or 6 buildings and then you built inside them? It's a clever way to address.
Apparently,
that.
Gets crazy because like the buildings you can upgrade to have multiple floors, and then you can put like 2 factories next to each other and join them. So this screen becomes like a giant rectangle. Like it actually gets bigger, and it gives you more room to work inside. So there, even though it's restrictive, there's definitely still creative building potential by a lot. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Zeke, you're doing a sponsor stream for this tomorrow, right? What time is that if people want to check it out? Do you know?
My normal starting time. I usually start at 10 a.m. Pacific and then let music play bullshit, and then 10:30 actually starts the sponsored content. So
cool.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. Outside of that, the only last things to talk about, I did play a lot more demos. They're all, I think, on my YouTube, but there's a lot of very cool side scrollers that we played. There's a lot of very artistically interesting side scrollers that were a lot of fun. Played just a lot of stuff, man. I really, really liked the demo thing. That was really played my time at Sandrock. It's basically my time at Porsche with a bunch more QOL even. And like some great QOL. Some of the stuff that really bothered me from Sandrock or from Portia was in Sandrock, and I'm very much looking forward to playing that. Grime is a Metroidvania. Had a great time with Grind. It's a Grime, I think it is. It's a super surreal,
Oh yeah.
interesting. Like I'm pretty sure you're playing some kind of personified black hole creature, because like you basically go around and like absorb the mass of other things and then use that to like edit yourself. I don't know. It's wild.
So Kirby.
Sort of. But yeah, that was Grime, and it was a lot of fun. It also it's not only has Metroid elements, but it has Dark Souls elements. So it's kind of like a weird Dark Soul Metroidvania hybrid thing. Very interesting though, and very beautiful. Like the graphics were really good with that. So
Cool.
I'm trying to think, chat, did I miss any big ones? I'm pretty sure that was all the big ones. I only did it like 3 days, and I've talked about a bunch of them. So yeah, played another couple, like a weird Dark Souls one, except instead of you're a ghost and you inhabit the enemies. So the way that it works is like you're in a ghost form, kind of like in World of Warcraft after you die, and you're very weak. But if you get an enemy down to a certain level, you can then jump into its body, and then you're the enemy, and you get all the stats of the enemy, and then you run around and kill other enemies, and you can like jump into their bodies if you want to. Wolf Stride, where you basically play Spike from Cowboy Bebop, and it's a turn-based mech combat game in black and white. That was pretty cool. Looking forward to that one too. And that's it. Let's end it there.
Cool. Yeah. Let's do our quick shout outs. We'll go to our break here, then get Phil in on the show. So Zeke, you want to do some shout outs real quick?
Sure. What's up, everybody? Thank you for watching. Thanks to Phil Spencer for being here later. Thanks, JP, being great co-host. My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III, just like that. I broadcast most days at 10 a.m. Pacific, and tomorrow we're going to be playing Industries of Titan. And then after that, I don't know. Maybe we'll play that all day. Who knows? But it's a sponsor stream starting the day tomorrow, and figure it out later. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Cool. Do some shout outs.
Sure. Thank you for listening to me drone on about all that stuff recently. I had a lot to talk about. My name is Ko. Big stuff for me. We're going to be doing probably some Battlefield 4 tomorrow. We've got a fun little golf sponsored event tonight. Probably some demos tomorrow. And then on Friday, we have a gigantic charity event. I would love to see you guys here for it. It's our biggest goals ever. We're doing goals like a 90-day workout challenge. We might actually even get to me playing every bit of the Final Fantasy 14 story, a whole bunch of stuff. Also, I need to talk to Zeke, but JP's already on. We may be doing some Mario Golf during the charity stream on Friday, which could be a lot of fun as well. So yeah, hope to see you guys there. It's going to be from 8 to 4 on Friday on my birthday. So as always, thank you guys for watching. And if I don't see you then, I'll probably be on next week, but I know I'm moving someday next week. So it's going to happen at some point. Okay. But yeah, we'll do our best to be on and go. So thanks for watching as always, and can't wait to see you for Phil.
Cool. We're going to take a quick break and get Phil all situated, make sure he sounds and looks pretty, and then we'll be back and talk to him. So
Phil always looks pretty.
He's laughing at you right now. You can't see this, but he's laughing at you. We'll be back in like 2 minutes or so. More drop frames coming up right after this. We'll see you then.